friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Em and this is Friday and I'm going to be starting a weekend reading vlog. Friday is my day off and I do work Saturday, but it's a half day, so it all works out. The kids and I are doing a no screen day today to kind of break up our routine. We have some plans with friends, and then I have a work party this evening that's family friendly. So we're actually pretty busy today. I don't know how much reading per se I will get done. I think it'll still be a good weekend. We're gonna do a real quick state of the reading. Put down my tea so it doesn't spill. State of the reading update. So let's do that real quick. Oh gosh, all the things fell. Today is July 28th, so July's almost over. I'm trying not to start too many things right at the end of the month because I don't know, I kind of like when it's a fresh start at the beginning of the month when I'm not carrying anything over, and yeah, I just like a fresh start, but it's not necessary. So I'm just reading what I'm reading, trying not to start anything too chunky right at the end of the month. But right now I am reading The Facemaker by Lindsay Fitzharris. She is one of my favorite medical nonfiction authors. This is about plastic surgery, specifically facial plastic surgery and reconstruction surgery that was really pioneered and made a lot of advancements during World War I on the faces of soldiers who were injured in battle. I love how she writes. Her first book, The Butchering Art, which is about Joseph Lister and the advent of anesthesiology and cleanliness in hospitals. And anyways, I loved it. It's one of my favorite books. And then this is her sophomore book, and I am also really enjoying it. I love how she writes, and I just think her books are fascinating. So if you're also a medical nonfiction fan and you haven't read Lindsay Fitzharris, I highly recommend her. And then I'm also reading The Spareman by, I can't believe I just forgot her name, Mary Robinette Kowal. This is sci-fi murder mystery, and I am reading it, A, because I own it. I'm trying to read the books I own, and B, it is on the short list for the Hugo finalists this year, and I haven't read it yet, so I'm reading it now. I'm not loving it, but my husband has already read it, and he assured me it's going to pick up quickly or shortly. I feel like it's a little slow right now, but he says it's going to pick up. Okay, we are quickly descending into chaos, so I need to finish up this intro. And then the last book I'm reading on ebook is a while ago on Kobo. The Winnowing Flame trilogy by Jen Williams was on sale. It was like all 3 books for $2.99. It was ridiculous. So I grabbed it and I am reading the first book. This is not the actual cover. This is the, like for the collection, but I'm reading The Ninth Reign right now, which I've had on my TBR for forever, and is also, I think, the series read that we're doing in Stephanie Bookish's Patreon. And I like it. I just never have time to read it because, I don't know, I go through fits and starts with my e-reader where I really like it and I'm reading a lot on it, or I'm not digging it so much and it's a struggle to pick up. And I'm kind of in that second category right now. Like, even though I really like The Ninth Reign and I think the writing so far is really good and I'm really interested in this world that she's building and these characters, I am just struggling to pick up my Kobo at the end of the day, and that's usually when I read on it, is at the end of the day. So we'll see how this goes. I'm definitely most excited about The Facemaker right now. That is the one that I am routinely picking up when I have reading time. So I'm hoping to finish it this weekend because I don't have very much left. And then we'll see if The Spareman picks up. I'm almost 100 pages in, so I have to decide how much longer I'm going to give it before I DNF, because I have learned my lesson, forcing myself to read one of the Hugo novellas, and I just wish I had DNF'd. I don't want to do that, and I really like Mary Robinette Kowal, and I would rather DNF one of her books than have like a really negative experience forcing myself to read one of her books. So that is where we are for the state of the reading. I need to go start getting ready for us to go to the park and play with our friends. And I'm also going to need to get more coffee at some point down the line. But anyways, yeah, let's get to it. Happy weekend, friends. All right, we are home. It was a long day, but it was good. And I'm still listening to The Facemaker. And it's so fascinating because I was just listening to the section where they're talking about how during World War One, because of the severity of the injuries and how much blood these soldiers were losing, like it led to the discovery of blood types and which blood types are compatible with each other and which ones are not. And then that really dramatically increased the survivability of blood transfusions and organ donation and like all this stuff that we just take for granted. And it didn't really exist until like 1914, 1918. It's just so interesting. I only read The Ninth Reign for maybe like 5 minutes this morning at the playground before our friends got there. And I don't know, I'm just finding this nonfiction book more compelling than any of the fiction that I'm reading. Like, I don't know what's going on with my brain. First, I'm reading horror. Now I'm like preferring nonfiction over fiction. I just, who am I anymore? Who knows? Anyways, so I am going to keep eating my lunch and listening to my book and resting for a little bit before we have to go to my work party. I finished The Facemaker. 5 stars. I really liked it. I was not prepared for the influenza pandemic of 1918 to make an appearance. So I was not expecting this to be a pandemic book. But it was for a little bit. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. If you have any interest in medical nonfiction, medical history, I think the way Fitzharris writes is really readable. It's not dry. She really brings these historic figures to life and makes she just makes it so compelling, and I'm hooked. And I love how in her 2 books so far, she has the main doctor that you're following and their discoveries and their advancements. And then there's all these other people that played smaller roles in that doctor's discoveries. But those smaller roles, those people who are kind of in the background, like they could be so forgettable and so flat, and it wouldn't really matter because it's nonfiction, but she makes them just as real and just as interesting and in depth as the main people she's writing about. So anyways, absolutely loved it. 5 stars. She's my favorite. I understand that these books take a lot of research and a lot of work. I hope it doesn't take her 5 years to write another book, because I'm really excited to see what subject she tackles next. So good. All right, I have to go break up a fight and deal with some cranky children, and then I gotta figure out what I'm focusing on next. My audiobook, this was also my audiobook, so I need to figure out what I'm listening to on audio, because it definitely can't go the rest of the weekend without an audiobook. It's the end of the day. Work party was great. We had so much fun. Kids had a blast. And now everyone's in bed. I'm starting to get settled. Our fan is on, so hopefully that background noise isn't too aggressive. And I'm going to crochet But since I finished my audiobook, I need to pick another one. So I thought maybe we could do that together and just go through my Libro FM and see what looks good. Don't be a bookseller. That's how you end up with over 300 audiobooks on Libro. Ooh, I kind of want to read God's Killer. God Killer. I know it's been out in the UK for a while, but it might be fun. Oh, Chaos Vector. That's right. I need to start over on that one. Raw Dog. Wow, the history of hot dogs. That might be fun. Ooh, no, I think I want a physical copy when I read How Far the Light Reaches. Okay, what can I start tonight where it won't bother me if I don't have a physical copy? Okay, I decided I'm still in the mood for medical nonfiction, so I am going to read the Sawbones book because I do also have a physical copy of this, and this is one of my favorite medical history podcasts, and I just think this would scratch the particular itch that needs scratching. Good morning, friends. It's Saturday. I have to work though, so, not as exciting. But as my last long day, I'm taking August off from teaching dance. So I'll still have gymnastics, but my schedule will be a little lighter, which is nice because I feel like the kids and I haven't gotten to do very many like summer things, and school starts in like literally a month. So now's the time to do the summer things. And I gotta fix my hair because there's a bump in it that I do not like, and it needs to go away. I just got done working out at the gym, and let me just say, if you are a person that when there is a whole row of cardio equipment, like 15 pieces of cardio equipment, all the same, and there is one person using a machine and they are on the end, if you get on the cardio equipment right next to them, you, my friend, are a psychopath. Same if you go to a movie theater and it's empty except for like one couple or like small group of people, and you sit in the chairs directly behind those people, even though there's a whole empty theater, you are a psychopath. So if that is you, and this is the first time you're hearing this, I'm sorry if this comes as a shock. And not only did this person like get on the treadmill like right next to me, she then proceeded to get on the phone and do a phone call while she's working out. I will never understand people who actively are on phone conversations while they're working out. I just don't get it. Like, go talk to the person. Don't. Anyways, so that was not as relaxing. Not relaxing. Gym is not relaxing, but not as I gained stress instead of losing stress, which was not the goal of going to the gym. But anyways, let's talk about books. Oof. I am approximately 50% of the way through The Spareman, and it's fine. It's fine. So what this is this is a did I say what this was? I don't think I did. I think I said it was a murder mystery, a sci-fi murder mystery. So at the beginning of the book, we meet Tesla Crane and her husband, Shal, and they are newlyweds and they are on their honeymoon. And in this future, which I assume is like a future that has spun off of her alternate history that's in Calculating Stars series. Is it called the Lady Astronaut series? It might be. It's a series that the Calculating Stars starts with. So I'm assuming this is a future spun off of the events in that book. So the moon has been colonized, Mars has been colonized, and Tesla and Shal are on a cruise ship that is going from Earth to Mars. And Tesla is a very famous engineer, CEO. Her family is ridiculously wealthy. Well, she's ridiculously wealthy. And then her spouse is a retired, I guess like detective, inspector, or something like that. And yeah, so they are both very well known. So they are traveling incognito on this cruise ship. They have aliases. Tesla's wearing a wig. She has a Westie who is her service dog, because you know that she has been in an accident that has left her disabled, and so she has a lot of pain. She has like a neural pain dampener installed that she can like adjust to kind of like deaden her senses, so to like block out the pain in her spine. She has a cane that she can use if she feels like she needs it, and then her Westie, which is her companion. And then in like chapter 2, is it chapter 2 or is it the end of chapter 1? They go out to a bar because Tesla wants to do karaoke while she still has like some anonymity, and then they see a fight between a couple of passengers, and then on their way back to their stateroom, they hear a scream, and Shal runs ahead, and when Tesla like turns the corner, she sees there's a dead body, and Shal then says he saw the person run off, and so Shal goes after them, and then Shal is arrested and charged with the murder, and so Tesla is trying to investigate who actually did the murder. And each chapter starts with a drink recipe. I think I showed it. Yeah, I showed it this morning. So there's a different drink recipe at the beginning of every chapter, and it is fine. I'm not super hooked. I'm not super invested. I'm also not actively disliking it. So far, it's fine. It's very fine. I'm hoping it picks up. My husband's already read it. He assured me it picks up. So we'll see. But I'm at 50% of the way, and I'm a little worried that it's going to, like, if it's close to dragging pace-wise. So hopefully it picks up soon and then does not drag, because that would be a big old bummer. But anyways, I have about 15 minutes until I have to be at work. So I am going to read my book, drink my coffee. I have breakfast in the car. I got a breakfast sandwich at my favorite local coffee shop. And yeah, and then I have to go to work. So wish me luck for today. It's my last long day, and I am so excited for my schedule to chill out a little bit. I have tried to record this outro, wrap up, conclusion. This is my third time. We're not doing good. The first time was last night. Hi, it's Monday, by the way. The first time was last night, but my lighting was really bad and I was tired, and so it just wasn't how I wanted it to be when I watched the footage this morning, and then I forgot to press record earlier today when I did it the second time. So here we are, third time's a charm. I finished The Spareman yesterday, and it was fine. Like 3 stars fine. Okay, I had a couple issues with it. I did like, well, let's talk about the positives first. I did like the disability rep. Tesla, the main character, was in an accident where she suffered a spinal injury, and she now has quite a lot of chronic pain that she manages through a bunch of different treatments. And nothing 100% succeeds. So she kind of combines all of them. She has a cane that she uses. She has a service dog. I thought all of that was really well done. However, I don't have a disability, so I mean, take my opinion with the grain of salt that it deserves. And I like that. I really like how Mary Robinette Kowal writes married couples. I think she writes that dynamic really well. The marriage and how she wrote that marriage in The Calculated Stars is one of my favorite things about that series in particular. And yes, okay. But here's where I struggled. First off, this murder happens super fast. Like, end of the second chapter, the first body has been found and her spouse has been arrested. And it happened so fast, because these chapters aren't very long either, that I felt like I never got to know Tesla outside of crisis mode. And because I didn't have a good reason to care for her in that short amount of time, I never connected with her the way I wanted to, or the way I wish I had. So I just had this book is heavy. I'm going to put it down. So I just had a big disconnect, and I wish we'd had a little bit longer before everything started happening. And then kind of the flip side of that, I felt like this book was too long. It should have been maybe 50 pages shorter, because it did feel like it dragged in a couple of spots. I will say my favorite part was in the middle. There was this, we have a team and we're working together. We're going to solve this mystery by working together, because there was Tesla and there was her spouse and there was and 2 other characters from on the ship. And I really liked this, like, Scooby-Doo gang, like, working together to solve the case. And it was fun, and the way the characters interacted with each other was really fun. But that didn't last for very long, and then it went back to just being mostly Tesla doing this on her own. And that was really frustrating to watch Tesla continually trying to solve a murder and bumping into roadblocks and being by herself and not wanting help. And because she didn't want help, then she doesn't have anyone to help her work through those roadblocks. And so a lot of the book was really frustrating because I wanted Tesla to ask for help. And I wanted multiple characters to just think through a decision for like 5 seconds instead of just impulse choice, impulse choice, impulse choice. And most of these characters are grown adults. Like, their brains are fully developed. They are all, we are told, very smart people. They should be able to think through a decision instead of making really impulsive decisions the whole time. I also thought the murder was overly complicated. There was a very minor side plot with very minor characters that didn't need to be there. It was just distracting and confusing. And even when we got to the denouement and the, like, villain is confessing everything, that confession also felt really confusing and convoluted. And I, like, had to read it again because I didn't understand, like what the motivation had been. But I really like Mary Robinette Kohl's style of writing. I like the characters that she creates. I think the way she tackles space travel and the science that goes along with that is really interesting. There's a robot component in this one that I really liked. I just felt like the actual murder mystery aspect lost me. So it's just sad. And this is a Hugo finalist. So now I have that Hugo video that I'm going to film about the novels is going to be so depressing to film because I am not super excited about most of them. And I'm doubting the people that voted in the Hugos because, like, this was it? These were the books that the majority of people loved enough to nominate? Like, there are a lot of books that came out last year. Why aren't there better ones on the Hugo list? That is my question, but that is another video that will be coming soon-ish. All right. Also, I had it in the B-roll, but yesterday we went over to my parents' house for dinner to celebrate my dad's birthday. And while we were over, my dad and I were talking about the Facemaker, and then I was talking about a podcast episode that I had listened to over the weekend where Mary Roach was being interviewed, and I've read Fuzz, but I haven't read Stiff, and Stiff is the book that is always recommended to me when I say that I really love medical nonfiction, and my dad, who has a vast book collection of his own, said he had it, and so I am borrowing it, and I started it last night. So I am an introduction and a chapter in, and is very interesting. It did gross me out a little bit. We just kind of dived right in, and I don't know. I can have a really solid stomach about some topics, and then every once in a while an author will word a medical procedure in just the right way that it makes me squeamish. Mary Rich did it. She made me squeamish. But just love her writing. And I love that she doesn't have a science background. She doesn't have a science degree. She's just a curious person with lots of questions. And I love it so much. So this will carry over into August. And then I was like this far in the Sawbones book. However, I did not realize how far I was in the audiobook, and I accidentally finished it while I was making dinner just now. But I've already done all of my July photos and stats, and so I'm just gonna cheat a little bit, and we're gonna say I finished it in August because I don't want to have to do it again. But I did finish this today. I liked it. If you like medical history, if you like funny stuff, I really recommend the podcast. I would definitely say get hooked on the podcast first, because I think half of the charm of this book, and the audiobook especially, is that Justin and Sydney narrate the audiobook, and so it's just like listening to a really long episode of Sawbones, but I really love it. The tagline is a marital tour of misguided medicine, and so Sydney is a doctor and Justin is just a person who exists in the world and happens to be married to a doctor, and so Sydney provides all the science and all the medical know-how, and then Justin is basically the voice for the rest of us going but I love the podcast so much. I've listened to it for a really long time, and I really like the book. And that is officially the end of this vlog. If you have made it to the end, thank you so much for watching and spending your precious time with me. I really appreciate it so, so much. If you would like to leave a comment but don't have anything to say, let's do a stars emoji, because we have a book set in space. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day or your week or wherever you are in the span of time that exists. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.